Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on a Ford Fusion 2011. We're going to be doing the spark plugs. It's actually quite easy, so I'm going to quickly show you what tools we're going to need. You're going to need a spark plug socket for one, and you're going to need a 5/8 spark plug socket, and you'll see how you know if it's a spark plug socket is on the inside. You'll see a rubber cushion. What this does is it hugs the top of the electrode of the spark plug, so that way it does not break when you're using it, and it allows it to hug it when you're pulling them out. Now, you're probably wondering, why do you have this? Well, sometimes the ring, the rubber ring that's on the inside comes out of mine. So what I did is I built this so that way we can hook the ring off the spark plug and pull it out. Super easy. You'll see if I have to use it. And then this is an 8mm. This is the first thing you're going to need. And then of course, we've got ourselves some dielectric grease for greasing up our spark plugs, just to, it helps against corrosion and helps keep, crap out that you don't want out. And of course, if you use conductive grease, it can make a better connection between the plug and the coil. So the first thing we're going to want to do is grab our 8mm, go over to our car, and you'll see there's an 8mm on every single coil. Now, you've got choices. For me personally, I like to just do this and loosen them all off, and then I just pull all the screws out but leave the coils on. You pull the coils one at a time, and the reason why I say that is then you don't mix them up. Not that it really matters, but it's just one of those things where it's less to have winding around. And as you see in here, just pulled that out. You just have to push down on this tab, brings this off, leave that one there, and again leave the wires like that. That way it's very hard to mix up your where they plug in, but if you do mix them up, they aren't going to fire right. So it's very important that just do one coil at a time. Loosen that off, loosen the screw off. I'll just quickly do that so I can show you. As you can see, they're longer screws. I'm just doing this with my finger. It's a little easier. Then we wiggle this and pop. That's a good sign. Now, a good thing to do when you pull these out, look at the jacket here, or the condom, whatever you want to say, and look for any liquid on the outside. And the only reason why is if you see any moisture in here, it means that it's leaking water in there, and it's bad because it can rust out the inside, and you'll have a rusty plug, which is even more annoying to remove. So check that. I know because I had that happen on a Mazda 3 I had, and then I actually didn't need to replace the boot. I just didn't have it tighten right. So we don't lose the screw. I always put it back in here. Next thing we need is our spark plug socket. Make sure she's on righty tighty, lefty loosey. If you take a look here, you'll see I have both plugs in my hand. This is the old one, this is the new one. This is a FOMOCO number, so I'm guessing these are the original plugs that were in there. I have no idea because I don't know the service record of this car. And then right beside it, you'll see I have the brand new auto lights. And they're iridiums, so again, they say iridiums last forever, but I still change them out every 100K just to make sure I've got a fresh plug in the engine block. So from this point, I'm taking a look. Like I said, this plug isn't too bad. Another thing you can do if you really want to is you can check the gap in there, and that's 0.5 if you've got your spark plug gapping tool. Again, I don't I probably will still double check these, but again, I don't really get worried with iridiums because they're a strong plug. They usually, if they're out of gap, they're really hard to re-gap. So I just, they're usually in gap, but it's always a good thing to check. Other than that, from this point, I'm going to grab a little bit of conductive grease. I'm going to throw that on the tip so it protects the tip against corrosion and gives us some good connection between this and the coil. And then along the threads, I always like to use, you can use conductive grease, but I've always used dielectric grease on the threads. And I go from there. And then from there, we're just going to drop her back, well, not drop, but we're going to put in the spark plug socket and put it back into the cylinder. So stay tuned for that. Alright guys, so I want to show you one thing. Remember I told you, see how this has a little bit of yellow on it? Well, probably not with the light on it. There's a little bit of yellow on there. Now the reason why I got the light here is I'm going to show you inside the cylinder. See how that plug's a little rusty and it's in there? The reason why is at one point this guy definitely had something with antifreeze going wrong. It's definitely not happening anymore because I had a full look over of the engine, and looks like it was something that should have been changed. But again, now I know how long it's been since they changed the plugs. That one could be a little bit fun to get out because if you take a look at that tip, it's nice and rusty. If you have this and you see rust actually all the way up that silver piece and you see rust all the way up that tip, that means this boot could be leaking. If this boot's leaking, you're going to want to replace them. Go to your local shop, get them off Amazon, get them off Rock Auto. They're cheap as hell. And you're going to want to change that boot out or get yourself a new coil. It doesn't matter. I'd probably just get a new boot. But we're going to pop that out, take a look, and again, don't worry, hasn't wrecked the cylinder. If you do see a lot of junk in there, then you're going to want to try and get a vacuum or something in there because you don't want it falling inside your cylinder. Again, it's just going to explode anyway, but it's just one of those things you don't want to have fall into your engine block. So I hope that helped you out. Something to look for when you're doing these. And again, it's an easy fix. Put the new plug in. Be careful when you're screwing it in or taking it out. When you're screwing it in, just make sure you do the two back and then all the way in. Okay? So, have a good one. So this is the reason why you want a spark plug socket. As you can see, I've put a little bit of dielectric on the threads, on the tip, up on top there. I put a little bit of conductive grease, and then of course the tip of the plug over here, the whole shaft, I put dielectric, and then on the white part of the shaft I put, or not dielectric, conductive on the tip, and then dielectric on the shaft. Now this is why you want a spark plug socket. See how I'm holding it? We're going to tip it, or see how I'm just going into the cylinder with it? Don't have to worry about it dropping, breaking anything. And then you do 2 turns back, and then you start going forwards, and it's just going to make sure that you don't strip the threads, because if you do, you will cry. It is at the tip of the engine, so from this point, there's 2 ways you go with this. You can either do what I do, which is I usually just tighten it by doing this, and I'll show you. As we're going along, I usually just tighten it until she's pretty tight. We'll take a second because, again, spark plugs, lots of threads. Okay, and then what I do is I usually grab the center of the wrench and I turn like this. And I tighten it with just one hand to the tightest I can get it. This is one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is if you have a torque wrench, which I do, which I'm going to double check my torque with, is setting it to 20 foot-pounds or 20 pounds, and then you just set it to 20 as soon as your wrench clicks, or if you have a digital one, that's how you set it. And that's one way to do it. But I think that's about right there, because that's where I can't move it anymore. Again, don't go on 2 hands and start ripping on this thing, because you'll strip your head out and you will cry. So that's about this is my executive decision, but that's about where it would be. If you don't have a torque wrench, if you do have a torque wrench, like so, you're going to set her to 20 on your shaft there, you lock it in and wait for it to click. And if you're wondering how that works, I'm just going to move this. We're going to put that on. I think we've got it about at 20 there. Yep, and then we'll listen for the click. As you can see, I was a little off. Should click pretty soon. There it is. Bang. We're set. If you want to hear that one more time, just make it click. That's how you know with the torque wrench, just in case you just bought one. But yeah, so that's it. From here, you're just going to take this, your boot, you're going to pull that screw back out, slip the boot in, make sure this seal seats properly. Again, you don't want liquid sitting in there. And as you can see, we have to pull out the plug. Hey, and the ring's still in there, so I don't have to use my hooky tool. So, again, it's an older spark plug socket, so sometimes it happens. If the ring ever does stay in there, you just need to make some sort of hook so you can hook the ring off of it, the rubber ring. And then, like I said, all we're going to do from here is pull our one screw. And I just want to show you because, again, I don't want anyone to get a leaky cylinder like that. But you're going to make sure this is all the way down. I can see that the lip is over top of it. And from this point, I just turn it a little bit side to side. If you want, you can even, you can do some different tricks. Maybe there's some different voodoo tricks I don't know. You can always, that's the beautiful thing of the internet, you can always check, but that's usually what I do. And then from here, I just tighten that 8mm in with the bolt. And again, don't over tighten this, even though it's, It's a threaded plastic piece of the block. It's always a good thing just to snug it up, like so. And that's it. Boom, you're done. One-handed tight. Do the other 4. Don't forget to clip these back in so you don't get those nice little check engine lights, and you'll be good. And don't worry, you'll know if you forget to plug it in. I hope this video helped you out. Press that like button if you did, and subscribe for more videos on this car. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.